Welcome to this new video. I'm the PC Collector, and on today's review I'm bringing you a relatively modern machine, but one that I think that is going to be quite interesting to feature. I'm speaking of the HP Compaq NX8220 desktop replacement business laptop. You know, this machine was released as a part of the series which replaced the older range of Compaq business laptops because shortly after HP bought the Compaq company, all the range of Compaq models were discontinued, and the brand was relegated to be just the business trim of the HP range of machines. This machine is from early 2005, and it's pretty much a quite standard representation of the business laptops of the time. Is quite the type of desktop replacement machine you would buy if you needed it for professional purposes. This machine, as you can see, has pretty much you could need in terms of connectivity. It has a Ethernet port, modem. It also has wireless connection, a decent number of USB ports, the audio output ports, and it also has a PCMC slot, which is very interesting. This machine has pretty much anything you could need, and also it has, as you can see, in the belly it has the connector for different kinds of docking stations and extra batteries. This is one of the first machines HP offered with a widescreen format. It was one of the first representatives of the typical 15.4-inch big laptop that you can find on the market. It also has, as you can see here, good quality speakers on the side. This laptop was offered with a Pentium M CPU, you know, those ones which based on the Pentium 3, which replaced the horrid Pentium 4 Mobile, and offered models ranging from 1.6 GHz to 2.13 GHz, and up to 2 GB of DDR2 memory. So yeah, pretty much just the standard deal, except for a small detail. In a time in which most laptops were moving into integrated graphics, this machine features an ETI Mobility Radeon graphics card, which was rather powerful for the time, and it's pretty much what it makes the machine interesting. The model was offered in different versions, which had all the same configuration. The only difference between them was very minor details. They all feature the same case, the same Intel-based AC97 sound card, both based on the Intel 915PM chipset. They are offered modem, Ethernet card, and wireless connectivity, and they are offered the same Pentium Mobile CPU. The only difference between the different trims of the model being the speed of the CPU. They also have the same video card. Again, the only difference being the amount of video memory of the video card. Normally they had 64 megabytes, although they were the lower trims offer one with 32 megabytes, while the top end was 2000 with a 2.30 gigahertz CPU had 128 megabytes instead. They had offer for 40, 60 or 80 5400 RPM hard drives, or an option for a 60 GB 7200 RPM drive. All the machines of the range came with Windows XP Professional from factory, although drivers for Windows 2000, which is fully supported, were available from HP, as it was common on most business laptops, because a lot of companies demanded Windows 2000 on their machines. This specific unit of the machine has the 2 GHz CPU with the 64 MB graphic cards. I have maxed out the memory at 2 GB, plainly because I have like one full drawer of the memories that this machine uses, so I see no point, and I see no reason to not do it. It still has the original DVD burner, which was the top option for this machine, although it also had the option to mount a second hard drive instead of the optical drive. It was also one of the first examples of machines which were starting to get rid of the optical drives in laptops. If you have been more following the channel, you'll probably be aware that I'm not exactly a fan of Windows XP and probably won't be using it on this machine. And you'll be right on that. I'm definitely not using Windows XP on this machine. And of course using Windows 2000. But that's yet me. I have a history with Windows XP, and yeah, I'm not exactly fond of it, and I avoid using it if I can help it, even for retro machines. You can see a rather big screen. I have disabled the wireless connection because the wireless network management tool which this machine has is quite annoying if there's available networks to connect, but you aren't connected to any of them. So yeah, that's the purpose. But yeah, I mean, if I just touch on that button, you can see how that wireless card is perfectly functional. Oh, now it's saying that, and you can see how there's some wireless networks I could connect this machine to if I desire to do so, but no, it's not the case. So I'm going to disable it again so it won't annoy me. As you can guess, I've pretty much configured the machine to my liking with Windows 2000. The usual basic software I install is the Office Suite and some testing things, codec packs, the Windows Media Player. I haven't installed that image editing program. I mostly use it for Windows 9X. Well, you can see the details of the CPU, 479 socket, all those used. Yeah, it has PCI Express on the card. The video card runs through the PCI Express Yeah, of course, it detects the ATI Radeon. You can see the whole configuration of the machine. 2 GHz, 2 gigabytes of RAM. The Mobility Radeon X600, which is a fairly good graphic card with 74 megabytes of RAM. That's the SoundMax variant of the Intel base AC97 graphic card. We can have a bit more insight with Everest, which of course I have installed because I will install it on this machine of this kind of machines. Have this I think this is 32-bit only. Yeah, it is only 32 bits. Okay. It's only 32 bits. It's something I wanted to check. But let's get some performance testing done. Okay, we have our inform ready. Yada yada yada. Let's have the resume. Yeah. Of course, being the most modern machine, I've featured here, you can guess that it has a rather big performance compared with what we see in other machines, but you can also compare it to similar machines. Everest provided this feature, and yeah, the performance of the memory is fairly good. It's on par to what is expected. Rather low latency, it's nice. Okay, and see how the CPU holds here. It's a fairly good performance overall. So yeah. You might be thinking why I'm featuring this machine here. and the reason is the hardware it has. Give me a moment so I can make one last test. No, that wasn't what I wanted to open. And this is yeah, I always forget which one is the right one because I don't use this. I don't use it that much. It's this one. You can indeed see a rather solid performance by the graphics card, more considering that these testings are rather modern. So yeah, what can you really do with this machine? Well, this machine, despite its age, is a machine which, even with a dedicated OS for this kind of machines, it can even today being used for basic tasks, basic office tasks, basic browsing and things like that, with an upgraded operating system, which you can find in the shape of different distros of Linux, which are intended for this kind of machines. It can still be used for very basic tasks, but to be honest, I don't think that's the most interesting thing you can do with this machine. I think that the best usage this machine can have is to use it for running early to mid 2000 software, and more specifically, I think that the graphic card of this machine is very well suited for running games from that time. And for that purpose, I'm going to test a very well representative game of the era, which is no other than Flight Simulator 2004. Well, it's moment, let me see. No. Let's see if I remember. Okay, engine started. I remember that I like to use... Oh. Well, I don't exactly remember where it goes. But we should go fast enough so we can take off. Oh my god. Wow. As you can see, the performance is quite decent. Well, this is definitely not decent, are my skills to fly. To fly with the keyboard, but yeah, you probably can see my point. Performance is rather good, and if this game is configured in the maximum quality the game can give, which means that probably this is, as I suspected, a fairly nice machine for retro games. Well, there's no point. I'm not going to keep torturing you with my lack of skill to fly those planes without a joystick. But yeah, so conclusion is this machine something which is interesting to buy? Yeah, of course. If you're looking for a machine to run games and software from the early to mid 2000s and you come across with one of those, you probably should get it, because as you have seen, it's a very capable machine. It's also a rugged, reliable machine. And it also has, in case of you don't want to use the original screen, or if you even want to use another one, you want to use it pretty much as a desktop, you can, because it has plenty of USB ports, it has the VGA port to connect an external screen, and you can maybe even get lucky and get the docking station, which effectively converts it on a desktop machine. So yeah, it's definitely a very interesting machine. So before I end this video, I just want to give a couple of suggestions for restoration. You probably won't need to upgrade the memory unless you get the lowest configuration with only 256 megabytes of RAM, but if you get any other of the configurations, you probably will be able to run perfectly fine with default memory. I just maxed it out because I have so many modules for this machine. The first thing is convenient to that you know is that this machine, despite of being a 2050 machine, doesn't use a SATA drive. So if you want to upgrade from the original IDE44 drive, you need to use an M2 to IDE44 adapter. And it's convenient that you also are aware that this machine doesn't connect the drive directly. It uses a caddy like most compact machines used to use. That is also the same for the DVD drive, so be careful if you buy a machine like this, because you'll need both caddies in order to be able to properly use the units. The DVD drive is technically possible to connect it without the caddy, but it's not something I'd recommend it because this machine was missing the caddy, and I have to let me a moment to close the system and close the and shut it down. This machine has a quick ejection system for the drive, but you can see how it is sunken below the border. That's because the caddy was missing, and I have to connect it directly to the board. I have to push it to the end until it was connected, and then secure it with duct tape, because there was no other way to make it connect. So if you buy one of those, make sure that both caddies are still present, the one for the hard drive and the one for the DVD drive. It's possible that you get a machine only with CD drive, but the drive is standard EIDE drive, so it should be relatively easy to get to either replacement, or it's even possible that you get a machine with a second hard drive in place. That could be a small problem because I'm not sure. I'm gonna check real quick because I'm not sure if this machine can boot from. I'm not sure if this machine can boot from USB. This would be something interesting to know. It's also worth mentioning that this machine has a very limited configuration utility. To be absolutely honest, I don't even know where you are supposed to configure the date and time of the machine. Yeah, of course, as you can see, you can indeed boot from USB. So yeah, in the case in case you find one with it without unit, there's no big deal. You can boot from a USB unit. That's an improvement from older machines. Yeah, it's pretty much the same kind of BIOS some late Armadas had. It's interesting, but yeah, the notebook multi-base where the default the internal DVD drive is. So yeah, you can indeed boot from USB. So I don't think there's anything I need to mention before that. Besides the fact that if I recall correctly, one of the second RAM slot is placed behind. Is plain. You have one here, but the second one is placed below the keyboard. So keep it in mind if you buy one of those and can't find the second RAM slot, that it is placed below the keyboard, and it would become standard for Hewlett-Packard laptops later on. Yeah, in the case of this machine, I don't have too much recommendations to do. The only recommendation I can make is to replace the original drive by a solid state drive, but that's pretty much a standard recommendation for any machine, because the performance increase is going to be substantial. And not only that, but you'll get rid of an old, unreliable hard drive, which is not something you want to have in your computers. Well, in any case, I hope that you have liked this review. I hope it can be useful for you, and I hope to see you on the next one.